Site is located at Sai Baba Colony in Coimbatore. The plot is located at the dead end of the street. The plot originally had an existing building that sort of was almost covering the entirety of the plot, and the plot also is adjacent to a reserve site that is covered with reserve landscape at the moment. We have our neighbors quite closely packed, and we have our site that is bang on top of the road, and all of these views that look into the site, and the existing building was knocked off and a new building was proposed. So we had a plan of an introverted structure, and there's a large chunk of a garden that was retained in the center, which sort of gives and makes this reserve site as the borrowed landscape. The client's requirement was that it need to be a non-ostentatious celebration of private life that had a very simple material palette and also a green space that was sort of the heart of the house. The plot is actually a west-facing plot and has the shorter side access towards the road. The plot measures about 60 by 66 feet in length. The spaces that are in the front of the house proportion differently than to the rear side of the house. So what happens in the front is the public spaces that are accessed by the guests and by the people who are being entertained occasionally at the house, and the rear end of the house is more private and sort of caters to the family activities. There are two gates, one for the car park and one for the main entrance. The main entrance leads to a vestibule area, and from the vestibule one enters into the foyer space. The car park is got a ceiling height of about 8 feet, which makes a space for accommodating another bedroom on top of the car park itself. Behind this large volume that is covered under a roof, we've got the staircase that leads to the first floor, and then the dining, which leads to the deck area. The sliding folding door, when open, sort of creates a seamless connection between the landscape and the dining. So it's like a physically accessible garden space from the dining and a visually accessible space from the bedrooms and the living areas. The deck area sort of happens to be the more entertaining aspect of the house and is also accessed from the side, where the caterers can also enter into the property. Behind the dining happens the powder room and the pantry space. From the pantry it leads to the kitchen and the utility space. This is where the master bedroom is located. The master bedroom has provisions for a walk-in closet and a bathroom. It also has a pop-out bay window where one can actually open out the entire window, which is about 8 feet wide and 6 feet high. In the front aspect of the house, we also have the water body, which is accessed from the living room itself with a sliding folding corner window. The staircase that leads from the living room enters into a landing space, and from the landing space it enters into the guest bedroom and the guest bathroom. The guest bed and bath are located at about 8 feet from the ground level and does not need much steps from the living area. So when the guests are occupying the room, they are sort of isolated from the rest of the family and they have their own private space. So the main staircase that is starting from here, which is from the dining and living area, leads into a lounge, which is a TV space and bar area, which also has access to this balcony, which opens out into the garden space and the borrowed landscape beyond. From the lounge area, we break into this common passage area, which is skylit from above and breaks into 2 bedroom wings. So the bedroom wing that on the left is pretty much similar to the bedroom that is in the ground floor, has its own dressing area and bathroom, and the other bedroom also has a similar dressing area and bathroom as well. On the bottom half of the staircase is a study area, which has got a nice window that is right above the sill of the desk, which also looks into the water body that is below. So we've got a 5 feet setback where we needed to accommodate our bike parking, which was now covered with a temporary structure which is made out of a metal fin, and the same grammar sort of continues into the building at varying spacing. This also acts to be the drain for the roof, and also becomes a private screen that provides the privacy that is needed for the living area and the water body space that is beyond. We didn't want to carry any of the plumbing lines internally, so we sort of pushed this out and we made sure that none of the plumbing lines sort of fall within the wall cavity or wall areas. The linear nature of the A roof is sort of broken by this vertical element, which is the water body, and accommodates the OTS that is on the top, and provides ample light into the water body, and also provides for ventilation from below. So the hot air from the inside rises above, and the cold air sort of replaces itself from the outside. So the reason behind why the project is called House of No Bricks is because it has absolutely no bricks in it, and it's built using glass fiber reinforced gypsum wall panels. These wall panels are about 5 inches thick and come to about 21 feet in length. They are cut based on the requirements that are specified by the architectural design. All of these panels come with a cavity which is sandwiched between two of these wall membranes. So these membranes are about 3/4 of an inch thick, and these are the crucial elements that sort of bear the entire load of the structure. The plinth area is constructed as a conventional building, and each of these cavities get one reinforcement rod of 8 to 10 mm of reinforcement and concrete within it, based on the requirement that is structurally provided, and this also acts like a load-bearing structure itself. Because of its 5-inch thickness, we gain a precious amount of carpet area, because from the conventional 9-inch wall, which is plastered and then goes up to 10 inches, this occupies just about 5 inches, which is almost a near saving of about 5 to 7% of carpet area, which is gained internally, and the built-up area remains the same. There is also an extreme thermal efficiency using this particular material, which is about 4 to 5 degrees of internal cooling. Added along with the landscape feature and the water body, we gain a very good amount of comfortable internal temperatures, which is making sure that there's not much of air conditioning necessary within the building. The key component of this particular structure is, or at least the material, is a glass fiber that is reinforced with gypsum. So gypsum is a primary waste that has been collected from most of the cement factories and as byproducts of other industrial waste, and it's sort of strengthened with the help of glass fiber. The material has been tested out by IIT Madras and has taken application for over the last few years in India. The GFRG panel is not just used for the wall, but also is used as the roof structure, both for the flat and the A roof structure. Besides that, we've got a very simple palette. As you can see, it's got the pink cypre, which is like the pink slate, which is used for the roof cladding, and the front portion of the house is clad using these Everest boards, which has got a sort of rough texture which complements the rough nature of the roof tile. Flooring is done using Kota and Jaisalmer stone, and all our door frames and all our window frames are made using black aluminium casing, which is from Aluke, and we've got rubber wood which is used for the staircase, and teak wood which is used for the door frames, which is polished to a similar finish, which is in teak color. The important aspect of using the pink cypre is that it changes color over time, and it also changes color when there is a slight gentle splash of rainwater. Very shimmering effect is created because of the mica that is there within the structure of the slate itself. We've got the building that is in the front with the setback, and then we've got a gentle slope which is about 23-degree angle. Because of the narrow road condition, we've made the roof into a steep slope, a much steeper slope, just so that you can view the entirety of the roof even at a very shorter angle, and this becomes part of the facade itself. So it's key that the roof and the wall sort of complement each other in terms of material and in terms of color. The house which is cut across both the blocks, and seeing the elevation of the building itself, you can see that these are the deep bay windows that are provided on both levels, and they sort of provide a shadow within the room, and the heat of which does not enter into the rest of the room, and they cut off with hidden curtain rails that are there in both of these windows. This tall peak A roof of the front block prevents any intrusion from the neighbors and does not provide for any visual entry from any of these sides. So it makes sure that the guests or the people who are living in the house can freely move about in their casual clothes. Besides the light that is generously filling up the bedrooms, we've got a tall skylight that becomes also a window in the front half of the building, which provides for ample lighting into the living area. These tall picture windows make for a picturesque viewing of the landscape area from the staircase. The staircase is set in such a way that it also accommodates for a seating area. We came up with what is known as a lily light. The lily light is a chandelier space that is sort of occupying the center of the living room. It is both gold and black in color and sort of meets to the theme of the entire space. Besides the chandelier, we've also got a serpent light, which is also carrying into the theme of the black and gold, and a sort of a structurally challenging piece of design. The entirety of the block, both walls and roof, including the A roof and the structure beyond, is all built using glass fiber reinforced gypsum. But the language sort of varies from the front block to the rear, just because of the fact that we need to show a different massing that is of a different language in the front, and the rear end sort of becomes a very low-key contemporary version of the house. The color that was specifically chosen for this site is because of keeping in mind the existing color that was used for the building that was already on site. Building is 10 to 15% cheaper than a conventional building, primarily because of the time it takes and for the requirement that it does not need any plastering. Because of the locally available nature of the product and for the fact that it uses sustainable materials, the building has a very sustainable approach to design. Through this project, we have sort of pushed the innovation levels within the design firm, and probably one of the very first projects that has been executed at a luxury scale using glass fiber reinforced gypsum. The client has given us so much of freedom to design. It's brought us closer to innovating more ideas into the design, not just in design but also in material.